Hi. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about Ayurveda. Some of you might have heard of the term Ayurveda. For some of you, it may be new. For me, it was very new. In fact, I had never even heard the word Ayurveda 4 or 5 years ago. So I was that type of person that I just loved learning. I loved learning anything that could help me find better health. And so I would read about a supplement and I'd run out and buy that supplement. Or I would read about a practice and I would totally become engrossed in that practice, whether it was HIIT or yoga or, whatever it was to help me feel better. But what I found was it wasn't enough. So I would take that supplement and maybe I would start feeling better, but pretty soon I would balance back out to where I was. I would start that practice and come back to where I was. Because I loved learning, I signed up for a clinical herbalism program. And I'm in the middle of this program, and my instructor keeps using this word, Ayurveda. Ayurveda. And I'm like, what is she saying? I had no idea what this word was, what it meant. And so I would ask, what is Ayurveda? And what I found was a whole new world. A whole new world opened up to me when I discovered Ayurveda. And I don't know if you believe in fate or luck or coincidences, but I had recently moved to New Mexico. And I'm taking this clinical herbalism class, and I learned this word Ayurveda. And it turns out that I live miles away from one of the best known Ayurvedic institutes, run by one of the world renowned instructors, Dr. Vasant Lad. And I'm thinking, this is not a coincidence, right? This is something that is meant for me. And it has been life changing. So, I would study supplements, I would study herbs, I would study practices, and I always studied them in isolation. And what I found was Ayurveda looks at all of it and it encompasses it all and teaches you how to change your whole life, change your lifestyle, and really shift you into health and happiness. So we all know this, that you cannot treat a headache with an aspirin. You can, and it might help the symptoms go away. But if the headache is being caused maybe from dehydration, until you get to that root cause of hydrating your body, that headache is going to keep coming back. Before I moved out here, I was an early childhood specialist. I worked in the classroom. I worked helping teachers. And what I found was, excuse me, what I found was, I could offer the best services in the classroom, but if those children were going home to unsafe homes, homes where there was abuse, home where it was no food in the house, my services weren't really helping that child. Maybe a little bit, and maybe when they were in the classroom, but it wasn't going to alleviate and really lift that child up to the best child that they could be if I didn't get to all of it. And that's what Ayurveda does. Ayurveda works on all of it. It works on the mind, the body, the spirit, and it pulls it all together. And so I've been working to pull that all together. And Ayurveda has, it goes back over 5,000 years. It has ancient techniques that we are now finally catching up to in science and understanding why they work. But I put a more current lens on it. So I can practice Ayurveda and still use my clinical herbalism classes. I can practice Ayurveda and still use my Reiki training. I can use all of that and incorporate that into my healing while practicing Ayurveda. And so I'm going to start doing some videos to share this with you. And the first thing I'm going to share with you is a little bit about the gut. Way back, 5,000 years ago, when Ayurveda was being practiced by the sages, and they knew that the gut was the beginning of everything, that food is medicine, and all disease starts in the gut if we are not feeding our body appropriately. And appropriately is individual for each person. And so, I have this picture here of this system. And we all know this system, right? We have our stomach and our intestines. And so what we do is we eat a meal and it comes into the stomach and our body reacts. It starts to digest. And what happens when our body is digesting that food, it is not having the energy to think, at the same optimal level if you weren't digesting the food. Our limbs, all the energy is going to the gut to help digest that food. And so it's important that we give that body that opportunity to do that. And part of that is being mindful while you eat, allowing that food to be digested, but then also giving it some time to digest. Our food takes about 3 to 4 hours to get through this whole system, right? So when you're looking at the stomach, the small and large intestines, it takes about 3 to 4 hours. So if I have food in my stomach right here, maybe I have breakfast, and I'm feeling a little hungry. Breakfast maybe has gotten down to maybe like right about here, and I put a snack in there. All of a sudden, my body is like, oh, what do I digest? Do I continue digesting breakfast, or do I move to the snack? And it can't do all of it, and so something's going to sit there, and it's going to start to ferment. And then all of a sudden I put lunch in there, and lunch is a big meal. Maybe I run out and have fast food, or I'm going out with friends and maybe I have a drink, And so there's more of a burden on that digestive system. And it keeps piling up and piling up and piling up. And in Ayurveda, we call this ama. This is toxins in the body. We want to give our body optimal time to digest that food so that it can utilize all those nutrients that we're eating, and we can feel good, we can feel light, and then we can eliminate anything that we don't need. So to start off in today's session, today's class, today's video, I'm going to give you one tip. Separate your meals. Separate your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner, and try not to eat snacks in between, because all that's going to pile up inside there, and your body's not going to be able to process it. And if it is processing it, it's not processing anything else, right? You're not going to be at your most optimal with problem solving or, interacting with your children, your family, because it can't do all of it, at one time. So, all right, I hope that that was something that was helpful for you. I will continue to do short videos, just little tips on how you can start to incorporate these Ayurvedic ancient practices into your life and start to feel better, start to find your health again. All right, have a beautiful day. Be well. Bye-bye.